So this video will teach you everything you need to know about the NFT space. From the introduction to the NFT space, what NFTs are, why there is such a hype around them, to the most important part, which is how to flip them for profit. I'll mention specific trading strategies as well as other opportunities, so be sure you stick to the end of this video because at the end you'll have a solid understanding of the NFT space and you'll have all the knowledge you need to buy your first piece of digital art. For simplicity, you can follow timestamps on the video timeline so that you can skip certain parts or go back to the specific topic if you want to rewatch it again. As I am doing this complete guide, I need to explain what NFTs are and why there is such a hype around them. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. What non-fungible means is best explained with an example. Non-fungible is something that is one of a kind and is not interchangeable. Think of the Eiffel Tower. There is only one original, there is plenty of copies, there is second one in Beijing, there is third one in Las Vegas, but there is only one original. Fungible, on the other hand, is interchangeable and is not one of a kind. The best example is the US dollar. So you can trade 20 US dollars for two $10 bills and they both have the same value, or you can trade $20 bill for $21 bills. They are interchangeable, they hold the same value and put together. That would be an example of something that's fungible. The key takeaway is no two NFTs are the same. Now, why is there such a hype around them? Well, glad you asked. Technically, they allow you to authenticate and verify ownership of an asset, and they allow you to add scarcity to digital goods in this digital era. And that, while it may not seem like this, is actually a big deal. When you talk about NFTs with people, you'll quickly realize that gamers have a really good understanding of NFTs and how they can be applied in the real world. That's because gaming by default gives you a good understanding of rare digital assets and how NFTs can play an important role in that space. Now, thanks to blockchain technology, this ownership can now be publicly verified and authenticated, increasing your social status and validity. In different games, you can now purchase virtual land or virtual goods where you can trade the NFTs on the blockchain without the need for a third party. Most NFTs are being minted and traded on the Ethereum blockchain and Polygon network, although many other blockchain projects have the capability of creating their own NFT protocols. Now, one of the coolest part about NFTs is they can be combined or embedded with smart contracts. Smart contracts are, put simply, a type of digital contract where the agreements between users are set in code. They can be programmed to self-execute once certain conditions were fulfilled, and a good example of this would be for every time an NFT is being sold, a portion of the proceeds of the sale would go to the original artist. So every time this particular NFT with a smart contract changes hands, a portion of the proceeds goes to the original author. That's just one example, and there are plenty of other useful applications. So that's it for the introduction. If you have any questions about the fundamentals, please comment them below. I'll be more than happy to get back to you and help you out. Moving on to the current NFT space and the market overview. Now, I recommend you sit down because it is a wild west.
I'm not afraid.
You will be.
Currently, the biggest marketplace is called OpenSea. Think of it like the eBay for NFTs. But there's plenty of other marketplaces. Some notable mentions are Nifty Gateway, which, fun fact, belongs to the Winklevoss twins, who sued Mark Zuckerberg for stealing their Facebook idea, but also Rarible, Foundation, Mintable, just to name a few. I'll leave a couple of links with more resources in the description of this video, so make sure you check the description out before you click off. Now, I'm saying this to say that most of the NFT sales that you hear about on social media, like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, are happening on OpenSea. This is their website, and here's how to navigate it. Now, I recommend you to spend a couple of hours at least, perhaps days, just browsing so you get a better understanding of what you're looking at. But basically, you need to get familiar with the following terminology. So let's start with collections. Most of the NFTs that are being flipped for profit and have a lot of hype around them are being minted as collections. Think of collections like CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, ... etc. These are collections containing fixed amount of NFTs and usually have a strong community around them. Think of it like this. If some influencer announces that they bought NFT that's part of a collection, usually the price of the entire collection goes up, or at least the floor price. Trading NFTs that are part of a collection allow for some sort of scalability, because if you believe a specific NFT will go up in value, you can now buy more pieces of a collection. This, in very simple terms, means that you can increase your potential profit. Second term is chains. Chains are different blockchains that allow you to mint and trade NFTs on top of them. OpenSea currently allows you to mint and trade NFTs on Ethereum blockchain, Polygon, and Clayton. Third term, gas fees. Gas fees are nothing new if you're familiar with crypto, but essentially every time you buy and sell NFT, you will pay gas fees. On OpenSea specifically, most NFTs are minted on the Ethereum blockchain or Polygon. NFTs minted on Ethereum have currently really high gas fees because of the high price of Ethereum. This means that you can end up paying up to a few $100s every time you buy or sell your NFT. Now, I'll let that sink in. Every single time you buy or sell an asset that you own or you want to buy, you may end up paying hundreds of dollars in fees just to process that transaction. You can buy and sell NFTs that are minted on Polygon or Clayton as well, which have a lot lower gas fees, usually a few dollars at a time. But generally, NFT projects minted on Ethereum are more popular and now surrounded by larger hype and larger popularity. Another term you need to understand is floor price. Floor price is the lowest price for a collection, but just know that the floor price isn't updated in real time, so just know that there is a little lag time. Floor price is a good indicator when it comes to popularity of a certain collection and hype surrounding it. Floor price also gives you a good idea for flips, which I'm gonna explain later in this video. As part of this chapter, to give you some understanding of the NFT space right now, I need to mention some numbers. So sit down, because for the month of August, this past month, OpenSea itself has crossed $3.3 billion in traded volume, which is, for lack of a better word, absolutely f***ing crazy. I'm not making these numbers up. Again, I'll leave all the sources in the description, so if you don't believe me, be sure to check this out for yourself. Now, last month was by far the largest in traded volume on OpenSea, and the traded volume actually increased 900% from the previous month of July. This tells you where all this hype comes from, and just for reference, the 3.3 billion in traded volume represent 1.6 million NFTs traded in that last month. Now, next chapter, how to start trading NFTs for a profit or loss. To start flipping NFTs profitably, you need 4 things. First is some basic understanding of the space. Second, really important part is you need Metamask wallet. That's going to be your crypto wallet that you're going to connect to your marketplace of choice. Now, the next 2 are not written rules, but I really recommend that you follow these. Third thing you need is Discord. Why is it relevant to NFTs and flipping them for profit? Is because most, if not all, valid NFT projects that have some trading volume have their own Discord server. When you click on a project on OpenSea, you can join their Discord server, see what the people are talking about, see how active they are, see how the founders are active in these servers, and oftentimes these Discord servers will have a bot inside of them that will give you the information about which NFTs are the most popular, how many times they've traded, and for what price. And now the last unwritten rule of flipping NFTs for profit is having social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Being active on these social media platforms and following the big names in the NFT space will give you a great overview of where the space is headed, flip ideas, new project drops, and if nothing else, it'll be a good source of entertainment. Now I need to pause and say that I do realize that this sounds a little autistic and retarded, for lack of a better word again. But sorry to say, the future is now, this is the future, and this is where the market is at right now. And now the most anticipated strategies for flipping NFTs for quick profit. To start trading NFTs, I recommend that you start on OpenSea. That's because it has the most liquidity, it has crazy amount of users at this moment, and it's where the hype is at right now. The golden rule if you're a beginner is to buy mint price only. Don't buy the hype. This requires you to keep your finger on the pulse, find the good discords, the personalities that are discussing projects before they get hyped up and everybody else tries to join in. The main reason for this is that NFTs are not really liquid. Lack of liquidity means that if you want to sell your NFT, you're not gonna have many buyers to choose from, if any, and you're not gonna like the price they're gonna offer you. That way you may end up stuck with a worthless piece of JPEG that you paid thousands of dollars for and that you cannot sell. If you buy into projects at mint prices, you minimize the losses, minimize the risks, and maximize the potential profits. Once you get a bit more experience, you can break this rule at your own risk. You also need to understand that anybody is able to mint and sell NFTs on such marketplace. That means you'll find a lot of ripoffs of popular projects like CryptoPunks, a lot of ripoffs of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and many others. These ripoffs are usually not worth anything, so be sure to always check what you're buying into, make sure it's the authentic project and you don't get fooled into buying something that is virtually worthless. you'll see that plenty of projects have this verified blue check mark. Now, this blue check mark means that this particular project has traded more than 100 Ethereum. Now, this doesn't mean that it's official in any way, shape, or form, but it does mean that the NFTs of the project are being traded. Now, this means that there's some interest and some liquidity. So the first strategy that I kind of hinted about is becoming an expert, keeping your finger on the pulse, and getting into projects at mint prices. This may sound like the most tedious, but it is likely the best strategy for trading NFTs out there when it comes to risk and reward ratio. You essentially need to start living and breathing NFTs, doing deep dives until you become an expert, get to know the influencers within the space, to the point where you recognize opportunity and have a solid understanding of what is going to happen. The second most common strategy that I would only recommend after you test out the first strategy if you're brand new to NFT space is scalping floor prices. This essentially involves you looking at different projects with a decent hype and liquidity, looking at their floor prices and scalping the lowest ones. Say the floor price of the cheapest NFT of a collection has a big price difference between the second and the third most cheapest one in a collection. You can now buy the most cheapest one and relist it at a higher price. If a person wants to buy into a project, they're most likely going to start buying the cheapest NFT available. So if there is a big price difference, you can pocket the difference by simply scalping the cheapest one and relisting it at a slightly more expensive price. If you are using this strategy and are scalping the cheapest NFTs in a collection, just make sure that you count for the gas fees. Because again, like I said before, high gas prices can completely wipe out your profit or can turn a profitable trade to a non-profitable one. To not make this video go on forever, I've decided to only include these two strategies. If you enjoyed this video and you would like me to cover more strategies to flip NFTs for profit, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let me know down in the comments.